Hello and welcome to Meanwhile Back on the Hobby Farm. Hey, I've been getting messages. Ken, where have you been? We haven't seen you out here in YouTube land. Yeah, you're right. I am overdue. However, I have been on Facebook daily. Come here, Mr. Bojangles. Come here. Come here. Come here, good boy. Come here. I got two of my friends here, Mr. Bojangles and Rambo. And that tail's going to knock over my camera in about 2 seconds. Okay, remember these dogs here because they're going to play a part of this video towards the end. Okay, guys, go upstairs, okay? You're gonna knock, I gotta do some videotaping. Yes, I love you guys. Come on, let's go. Those are my 22-month-old puppies. Go, get up here. Get up there, get up there, come on. Get up there. No, get upstairs, get upstairs. Hey, get upstairs. Upstairs. Okay, sorry about that, folks. The dogs wanted to take over the show. Actually, those dogs are August, September. They are 16 months old. Anyway, today we're going to be going over wood stove fire building 101. First thing first, I am not an expert by any means. I asked a lot of questions, done a lot of research, watched a lot of other fellow YouTubers. By far, you know what they say about free advice? You get what you pay for. I'm going to just show you what works for me, and it keeps the house nice and warm and toasty. So, with further ado, let's get started here. Okay, first thing first, we're going to open up the stove. What we have over here is a pile of paper, some cardboard, some kindling pieces, and the main meat and potatoes of the fire. I get these in 30-inch lengths. They're heat-treated logs, 3x3, solid as can be. These things burn for hours. I love it. Thank you, Jody and Randy. It's where I get my, I purchase my supply from. Anyway, first thing first, traditional fires, we're all grown up to say, oh, you need to put some paper and some lint and some leaves and then a little cardboard and then a little thin wood and then the big wood on the top. Doesn't work for me, doesn't work for a lot of people. What we're going to do is, first thing first, we're going to zoom in over here, and this is a baffle that I made right here. This right here is a piece of angle iron, and there's another one 9 inches behind towards the back of the stove, and on the top is what's called fire brick. Sustains multiple hundred, almost 1,000 degrees of temperature, and they're all laying right across them, 5 on the top. What that does is when the fire burns, instead of all the flames and the heat and the gases going right up to the chimney and gone, it's wasted, it actually boils back over towards the front and it actually reburns itself, which by doing that, it creates a lot more heat in the stove, which that heat translates into keeping your home warm. So, first thing first, what we're going to do, we're going to take in our thicker logs here. You're going to be amazed how this works, folks, I'm telling you. You know, people say, no, you're doing it backwards, you're doing it backwards. Hey, I was one of those. Okay, so we're going to put in 4 logs like this. Then we're going to take the kindling pieces, make sure I'm doing good there. I'm going to put them across this way. I always like to put in the main logs going what I call north and south, straight in. And there's a reason for that. It's because of the gravity pull, not the gravity pull, but the gas pull of the fire actually helps bring it up and over and burn to come back in, versus if you have it the other way, a lot of times it just wants to go straight up. So we're going to throw these kindling pieces over here. Like this. Hey, you know what? I just realized I didn't bring them all the way over. Got to keep an eye on this guy, I'm telling you. Okay. And we'll put this one here. And put that one way back there. All right. So we got a couple of pieces here. You want to leave some space between them. Oxygen is your friend. Then we're going to take the cardboard, throw some cardboard on there. I like to put some on the top, but I also like to put some on the sides too. We want to get that fire going from all angles. Now, a problem a lot of people have is what's called no updraft when starting a fire, and that happened to me last week. It happens to the best of us. The house filled up with smoke, and I thought my wife was going to call 911 and report a house fire. It got smoky in here. And there's a reason for that. It's cold out today. It's only in the 30s. First time we light this baby up in about 3 days or so because it's been warm. It's been in the 50s during the daytime, 40s at night. No need running the stove, right? But when I looked at the thermometer upstairs this morning, it was 60 degrees. It's a rain, dreary, blah day, and hey, I'm addicted to this stove. Any way I can have reason to burn, I'm in. Okay, what we're going to do, I think I have too much cardboard here. Then we're going to go over to the paper. Now, folks, very important. I'm depressed that election season is over. Why, Ken? Are you nuts? No, all that junk mail, oh my, I wouldn't even read any of it. It would just go into the pot. That's all gone. I burned it all. Makes for great fire starting. But I've got other junk and stuff that I put in there. Other paper. Bills. Folks, bills. You want to know how to take care of your bills? Put them in here like this. The funny thing is, 99.9% when we pay bills is online or over the phone. They always send you blank envelopes. Don't need blank envelopes, so they make for great burning, and I burn in the bills too. As you can tell, I filled up a bucket of this the other day because I cleaned up a junk drawer that had a whole bunch of bills in there. So what we're going to do is, we're going to go like this, and we're going to take the trusty old lighter. Let's get this in here. Now, I do like to tuck up some papers on the bottom there because as the ashes fall, it's going to catch those up and you'll see. So first thing first, folks, way back there is the opening for the chimney. We want to create a draft. If not, all that smoke's going to come back in the house and you're going to hear some yelling in the background. That's going to be my wife saying, "What are you doing down there? You're going to burn the house down." Rightfully so, too. She has all the right to saying that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to light this. And I think this lighter is dead, but haha, always have a backup. The reason why it wouldn't stay lit is I have a fan going behind the camera, and we'll show you that in a second. You always have to have a camera going in the oh my God, a fan going in the background. You want to blow cold air in from another area of the room to feed the fire. Very important. We'll go over that in a second. So, we're going to light this baby up. Come on, baby, light my fire. Hey, I never possessed I was a singer. We're going to take that, we're going to put it right over there to actually inside the bottom of the flute right there. And what that's doing is it's going to warm up the chimney stack a little bit so it sucks this all out here. And as I got that going, it's going good. It's creating an updraft right now, and that's what we want. Now we're going to take this. Kids, don't do this at home, okay? Don't be playing with fires now. Even you adult kids. Okay, so what we're going to do, see, now we're creating an updraft. The smoke is going right up the stack. We'll throw a couple down there. Now what we're going to do, unlike the traditional wood stoves, they usually have, don't do that at home, folks. We're going to shut this up, okay? This is an old Fisher stove. What we do is we open up, these are your dampers. Your damper knobs are right here, okay? Control knobs. Most We showing the stack up there? Yep. Most chimneys, or the flutes, have what's called a damper plate in there. You open it up to create the updraft, and that's what feeds your fire. With these Fisher stoves, they purposely do not recommend using a damper plate inside the flute because you're actually taking all of your heat from the stove and you are forcing it out the stack, and it's a waste. You're heating up the sky, the ozone. You know, we don't want to heat up the ozone any more than we are, right, folks? So anyway, we're going to get rid of this cardboard here, and I'm going to talk your ears off for a second. Okay, so just a quick view here. I've got cardboard, kindling wood, and paper there. That's the old stove. That old stove is going to go outside this spring, and we're going to use it for doing canning. No need canning inside the house in the summertime when it's 95 degrees out, when you can do it outside on a wood stove and you have no heat in the home. So anyway, folks, we're going to let this baby go for a while. As you can see, it's going good. See the hot ashes there? They're all going to fall down on the cardboard, burn it, then the kindling wood, and then the big logs. Now, what I did with this stove was I put some regular bricks, mason bricks on the bottom here, and I put 2 patio blocks. The reason being is this kettle here, if you put it directly on the stove gets multiple 100 degrees. Sometimes it's gone up to 500, 600, 700 degrees. It will actually boil over, and then you've got a cast iron pot with no water in it that's boiling over. You don't want things to crack. So by putting this on here, these will actually get nice and hot, and it will slow release the steam, which I put a little bit of, what kind of oil did I put in there the other day? Some kind of oil scent, I forget what. Oh, lavender. Put a couple of drops in there, it'll steam up there, and it'll be good. Good news is, when this fire burns down, these bricks will maintain heat. Actually, by having the space between here, and there's a back wall against it because it goes up and over, it actually throws more heat out. Now, what we did before on the old stove, I didn't know any better. A lot of people don't know, but when you do the research, you find out. Your questions are answered. So, what I have done is, we're going to go up here. First of all, I think I went over this before. I double dutied the walls. I didn't have to. You really can't see it, but behind these 1x2s right here is regular drywall. Okay, it's a drywall. The other side of the drywall is actually, over here is cement, concrete wall, and over here is a regular drywall. But there is drywall on here over it. By putting the 1x2 bafflers strips over here, put them every 16 inches, I ended up putting, let me backtrack, folks. Got to backtrack here. There is cement board behind these. Originally, they were installed right up against the drywall. Not good, because they heat up and the drywall heats up. You've got a fire hazard. So I did actually end up putting the 1x2s. I put the cement wall, and then I put these metal tin sheets. They go for $20 a piece at Home Depot. Might get them cheaper elsewhere. Didn't really need this. Just having a cement wall was more than enough for fireproof. It creates a space in above. If you can see on the bottom over there, there's a couple of inch space in the bottom, 2.5 inches, and there's some up on the top too. Right up there. Okay? There you go, right there. What that creates is it creates a draft. It cools it down. Before I put this tin up here, with just having the fireboard on there that was up against the wall before I put the 1x2 strappings, you could not touch this. If you went like this and you touched it while the fire was roaring and going heavily, you couldn't. You'd burn yourself. But now that I put the cement board over it with the spacing underneath it, between that and the wall, you could touch it. It was still hot, but you could touch it. The funny thing is, you would think metal, oh gosh, it's going to heat up. I'm telling you folks, I've had this stove cranked up to 600 degrees. You can touch this and it feels so much cooler. We're going to show you right here. The thermometer on here is showing that it's below 100 degrees right there on the stack. And then I also have one over here, and that is showing about 65 degrees. In a little bit, the stove is already starting to warm up a little bit. Once I get this thing completely loaded, it's going to go up to about 130, 140 on the wall, and that stack should go up to about, I like to keep it around 300. Back here, you see these log racks. Those are a no-no. You do not use them. They're good for a fireplace. They are not good for wood stoves. You are better off putting the firestone on the bricks on the bottom, which we have here. We've got inside, we've got the fire bricks on the bottom and on the sides, and now I have 9 inches of it in the back. And yeah, you don't use those logs. You're losing a lot of your heat. It's just going up and out. You want to keep those bricks hot, because once this fire completely burns itself out and there's just hot coals, this will still maintain a couple hundred degrees for hours. I can load this thing with 12 logs at 10 o'clock at night, wake up the next morning at 6:37, come down here and still not touch the top of that stove. It's still hot. It maintains its heat for hours. These are the old Fisher stove, folks. If you see them, you can get them anywhere from $100 to $3,000. Just depends where you are and what the person knows about them. But they are the Cadillac of stoves. This one weighs 405 pounds. This is the Grandma Bear edition. Let's open this baby up. See, it's going. It's going to take a little bit. As you can see, in a few minutes, we're going to add another log on the top. Matter of fact, I'm going to do that right now. No need waiting, right? We're going to take another. These are about 15 inches long. I cut them in half from what we got because the 30 inches will not fit in here. Now, most important thing is, we'll put that just like that. You want to keep this shut because you want to get that fire. You want to encourage that fire to go. You keep these dampers open all the way. Folks, once this fire is up and going, I keep this one completely shut down. This one over here is only turned maybe one turn. That's about it. You do it too much, it heats the stove up so tremendously hot. I had that stack in the background when I first got the stove glowing red. That's a no-no. That's a fire waiting to happen. Although I do get the protection on the walls. These flute stack black piping, which it's called, has a standard maximum of 400 degrees. That you don't want them above 400. I had it up to 700 one day. That's a no-no. What I'm going to do here, right there, the stove, the fan. I'll turn this around for a second. I'm going to turn that on. And what you need, the reason being is you want to blow cold air. As you can see, I've got a door there. And I got a space underneath the door. Cold air drops, warm air rises. I used to think that you would, I used to shut, there's 3 basement doors. There's one there, and there's one on the other side. I used to shut them. Oh, I don't want to get the cold air in there. I'm going to be heating up a cold room in the basement. No need to do that. Totally, totally wrong. I was wrong. Hey, you don't hear that too often. Hopefully my wife's not watching this. But no, totally wrong. You actually want the cold air to come into the room. That's what feeds the fire, believe it or not. Now, the other thing is, we're going to come up here. We're going to show you this stack. This is a double wall right here, okay? The black pipe goes into it. You can touch this when this fire is roaring 100 degrees. It won't get hot. It's double. It's got a pipe inside of it. It's insulated. And we'll show you the outside one here. When you get to the outside, I love this little thing my wife picked up. She found it on the side of the road. I absolutely love it. The only problem is it's made out of plastic. I can't put it near the stove. But I leave water in it, and that's what I feed the kettle on the stove with, so I don't have to run to the sink all the time. Now, we're going to come up here, and we're going to show you. It's raining out here. But this right here is a T, okay? And underneath here is the trap. You unscrew this cap, and then the ashes come out, whatever. This is a triple wall chimney stack. Goes all the way up. You want to go 3 feet above the height of the peak of the roof. Okay, we're going to pause this for a second. Okay. We are back. It's raining out. I had to wipe the lens on the camera a little bit here. But yeah, the triple one, it doesn't get hot at all. That is usually recommended. Most insurance companies require that. That you have that on your on the outside of your home. And again, a lot of people make the mistake is they put this chimney stack too low on the roof, just above the bottom of the roof line. It's got to be 3 feet above it to create the proper draft. Hey, going back to this Fisher stove, a lot of these Fisher stoves have white. They used to put the name Fisher, and the trees on it were white. And I'm going to do that. And you know, people saying use high temperature paint and what have you. And I just saw the other day that what somebody used was they used white. You know those black markies that they have, Sharpies. They have white ones, but I've also seen people use actually silver. Looks really good. So I'm going to do that. They say get silver markies and just hand do them that way. It'll withhold the temperature. It won't burn off. The gentleman that had the stove, he painted it all before we had. I wouldn't have painted it. I would have used some stove polish instead, but it's dirty from me using it, what have you. I'm going to wash it up, polish it all up, and hey, the temperature's going up. Look at that, folks. The temperature's going up on the stack right there. It's up to 200, about 180 degrees. So it's warming up in here. We'll go to the wall over here, and we'll see what that's up to. The wall is up to about 78 degrees. And this feels so cool no matter how hot it gets. This is my love and joy. These racks, Cheapskate Cody picked these up at a store closing sale. And it was a big rack that I use for my prepping of my canned goods, which I have hundreds of them on there. These was zip tied to the side of them. Have no idea why. I'm going to use these as actually dehydration racks for my stove. What I will do is when I dehydrate, I'm going to put another layer of bricks on the top here so it's even, and I'm going to lay those racks on there, and I'm going to dry my herbs or anything. You can dry fruits, vegetables, what have you on there. Let's see how this thing is going. To show you, I knew very little bit about this. I did research when I first got this. This came with the stove. It kept on burning over, and it's rusty inside, and I kept on looking, how do you get rid of the rust? Well, I wasn't thinking that water and cast iron do not mix very well. So they're going to rust. You're not drinking the water. You're using it for vapors to add moisture into your house. They're going to put this spring handle on it. Speaking of pots, Cheapskate Cody was cleaned out one of his son's rooms a couple years ago, and threw some stuff that I seen in a junk drawer in the kitchen. Cleaning out the junk drawer, I came across a gift card. And yeah, I wonder if it's been used. I called the number on it, and there was enough money on that card that I said, well, that's it's been 2 years, the son doesn't miss it, and I could use a Dutch oven Dutch oven grill, Dutch oven pot for the stove. So I went on eBay and I ordered one. It should be in today or tomorrow. It's a nice heavy duty pot. I'm going to put it on the top, and I'm going to make some good chili soups and beef stew and slow cook it all day long on the stove, and that's my goal. This over here, folks, for those of you in the Grand Rapids area, take a good look at that. If you are very, very familiar with downtown, the epicenter of downtown Grand Rapids, that brick comes from Rosa Parks Circle Park. They remodeled it, did a multi-million-dollar renovation on it this spring, and they laid new bricks down. And one of the workers, I walked by there and said, you know, that would look good in my home somewhere. So that's the history behind that. That's why that's there. Now, once that stove, it's going way up. I'm going to add a couple more pieces of wood, let it sit for an hour, and then I will stope it all up with about 12 pieces of wood, and that will be the last that I add of the wood until probably I might add maybe 2 pieces around 6 o'clock, and then I'm going to There'll be some nice hot coals in there, and I will load it up with about 12 pieces for the night, and it will get up to about 68 to 70 degrees upstairs, and we will be in business. Let's open this baby up. Look at that go, folks. Look at that. Huh? I didn't lie to you. That's how you do it, folks. And like I said, a lot of that gas is going to reburn itself, and that's why it's hot. I can't even touch this door now. It's hot. What we're going to do now is we're going to shut the... Well, let's go back up here and see what the temperature is. Okay, right now it's up to 260 degrees on that, on the stack. And the wall behind it is up to, looks like about 85 maybe. So what I'm going to do, we don't want to keep those flutes open all day long because you're wasting all the heat. This one is going to get completely shut off. It's off. This one here, I'm going to turn it all the way off. If I turn it all the way off, the fire's going to knock down. I'll show you in a second. It's going to knock down to nothing. It'll slow burn, but it's not going to create any heat. Temperature's going to nosedive in here. We don't want that. It's going to take a second. Maybe too soon. Yeah, too soon. Within a minute, it's going to knock that fire down to nothing. So what we want to do is we want to 1, 2, 2.5 for now. I'll turn it down later on. If a stove gets too hot, what ends up happening is they warp, and you don't want to do that. See these handles right here? See how the flange on it is nice and straight? The fin on that, nice and straight? That look pretty? Look at this one over here. This one at one time got too hot. It fishtails. It's gotta see it warped. And a warped stove is not good. That's the only one that warped on it, but that's not good. You don't want this. You want it to be straight. That means you had it too hot. Let's recalibrate this. And Fish is not the only one that has these damper knobs. There are other brands that have them. Kodiak stoves, some of them have them on there. I highly recommend using those and do not use those dampers on the regular stove. Now we're going to talk about fireplaces versus wood stove. Fireplaces are great. I have a screen right there. See that screen right there? I can open these up and put it in front here. It's going to throw some heat out here. It's going to look beautiful. It's great if we want to sit out here, have a drink, have some company. Great. Hey, nothing wrong with it. You're wasting a lot of heat. But going back to the fireplace, that's what a fireplace is actually for cosmetics, so you can enjoy it. It looks pretty, okay? But that fire's still going way too hot. We're going to lower that down a little bit. Stack is up to 300 degrees right now. But they do have what's called fireplace inserts, and Fisher even made those too. They're like half stoves. You put them inside the fireplace. You use the fireplace chimney, but you get the benefits of the wood stove, where you've got the dampers on it. You still have to use the damper because it's a fireplace, but you still get the damper if you use the Fisher or the Kodiak ones, and you can still open them all up, and that it does wonders. You end up getting probably 100% more of what you already have heat in your home by using an insert on a fireplace. Again, fireplaces are good. They're good to look at. They're pretty around the holidays, but cost efficient for your home. Not very good cost efficient at all. One thing I wanted to show you was, I told you this fan over here is blowing. The cold air in here is up here. Let me do this right, as you can see. Ta-da! Let me turn that in. Here you go. That is a grate, and that goes upstairs. Originally, we had a fan up there. Upside down on the living room upstairs, we put a fan upside down thinking, let's suck all that warm air up. That was a no-no. It was a lesson that I've learned. And the lesson that I learned from that is, do not force the warm air upstairs. Let it do it naturally. You will have much better results. Feed the stove the cold air on the ground level. Let Mother Nature take its course and bring in a warm air upstairs.